Hello, we're doing Model 9 Nutrition and Food Handling from Fundamentals of Caregiving, third edition. This is your book. We are on page 173. So, we are starting by looking at the key terms. Please read and understand the key terms. Then we are going to start with a healthy eating. What's a healthy eating? Healthy eating is critical for good health. The nutrition in a healthy diet can increase overall health and energy, prevent or control certain diseases, or it reduces bone fraction, and a healthy diet can encourage weight loss, or maintain a healthy weight. Choosing a variety of healthy foods in balanced proportion gives the nutrition and hydration the body needs. By balancing what we eat with daily activity, we can improve or maintain a good health. There is no one size fits all diet that every individual can follow. Everybody is different, so eating patterns are developed throughout a person's life, so it's different. The client service plan will have a detailed instruction about eating habits, likes and dislikes, nutritional requirements, and diet modification. So make sure you look at the service plan before you try to feed a client. So rather than viewing one's food choice as good or bad, it's helpful to see the overall picture of a person's food intake. Let's look at the healthy eating pyramid over here. This is a healthy eating pyramid. Each layer of the pyramid also shows us how much we should eat from each food group. In this food pyramid, healthy levels of activity are shown as the foundation of healthy eating. And there is also a healthy eating plate. This also showing us how we can put our food on our plate, how we should look like. There's guidelines for good food nutrition in our book. To have a healthy diet, most people should drink more water and eat foods that are low in saturated and trans fats, low in sodium, low in sugar, and high in dietary fiber. Okay, now let's see fats. What are fats? And there are two kinds of fats. Is that healthy fats and unhealthy fat? What are they? How we look at them? Okay. Fat is an important nutrient that gives the body energy. It helps the body absorb vitamins and support important body functions such as brain and immune system. Fat is also necessary for maintaining healthy skin and hair. There are several types of fats in the foods we eat. Some are healthier and some are not. A diet higher in unhealthy fat can lead to high levels of LDL, which is a bad cholesterol, and cardiovascular disease. Healthy fats are usually unsaturated fats. Those are polyunsaturated and monosaturated. They do not raise blood cholesterol. These fats are normally plant oils that are liquid at room temperature. Examples are olive oil or avocado or sesame oil. A healthy diet includes more foods that contain healthy unsaturated fats like almond butter, avocado, fish like salmon and tuna, nuts like pecans, cashews, olives, pumpkins, like that. Unhealthy fats are saturated fats and trans fats. These are unhealthy because they can increase the risk of heart disease, diabetic, cancer, and obesity. These kind of fats are solid at room temperature. So foods like butter, cheese, or coconut oil, or cream, ice cream, and milk, like that. Trans fats are harmful because they raise LDL, which is a bad cholesterol, and they lower HDL, a good cholesterol. Fried foods are the main ones usually, and they are cooked on a high cooking temperature that used during frying, so they're not good. So, what are the general tips to decrease unhealthy fats? Uh, the main one is we need to read the nutrition label carefully to see if saturated or trans fats are listed on the label. Look for the words partially hydrogenated to find trans fats in the ingredient list. Choose lean meat or skinless chicken and trim all visible fat before cooking. This is one way. Or to reduce unhealthy fats, we can lower the fats when we are cooking, like the cooking methods, grilling, barbecuing, like that. So we need to skim the fat off the top of cool gravies, sauces, soups, and stews. To reduce unhealthy fats, we can use cook when we cook unsaturated fats such as olive oil. We also can limit cream-based sauces and soups. Now let's look about sodium. Sodium is a mineral in salt. It helps to maintain the body water balance, blood pressure, prevent dehydration. Too much sodium can lead to high blood pressure and heart disease. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommended that a healthy adult consume less than 2300 milligrams of sodium per day. That's like 1 teaspoon. The American Heart Association recommends an ideal limit of no more than 1500 milligrams per day for adults. So, tips to reduce sodium. Sodium, it's we need it, but most of the time it's very bad. So there are some tips that help us to reduce the sodium on our book. It says look for and use sodium free, low, reduced, light in sodium, or no salt added processed foods, or compare the level of salt in processed foods when we are buying, or we eat fresh, frozen, or canned vegetables and meats without salt added. It's better to be spicy instead of salty. So when cooking, yeah, it's better to be spicy than salty. So we can flavor our foods with a variety of herbs, spice, lemon, lime, or vinegar. Or we can avoid the salt shaker, or or we can avoid the salt shaker. We can avoid to fill it with a herb substitute instead. We should to reduce the sodium. We should also limit canned, ready cooked or boxed meals such as noodles, casseroles, or rice dishes. And we also need to limit highly salted foods such as corned beef, bacon, pickles, chips, and preserved meats, foods like that. It's good to reduce sodium. Okay, now let's look. So, sugar. What sugar? Sugar is a carbohydrate that naturally occurs in fruits, milk, and vegetables. Other carbohydrates that are found are like in grain products, like bread, pasta. Many processed foods also contain added sugar. The body uses sugar and other carbohydrates for energy. Too much sugar can lead to diabetic, obesity, tooth decay, or cardiovascular disease. So we need to avoid or reduce added sugar as much as possible. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommended that most Americans eat less than 50 grams of added sugar per day. What are the tips to reduce sugar? One is that avoid or strictly limit foods that have added sugar. The most common foods that have added sugars are sweetened coffee, soda, energy drinks, cookies, candy bars, pudding. It's a lot more. It's a lot of them. In addition to the word sugar, in the when you are looking the label, when you are looking the label, in addition to the word sugar, you also need to look for other words that replace sugar. Like if it says glucose, you need to read it as sugar. Glucose, fructose, and evaporated cane juice, barley malt, corn syrup, dextrose. These are all mean sugar. So when you are looking at the label, pay attention to that. Now let's talk about a fiber, dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is a kind of carbohydrate from which the body gets little or no calorie or energy. It naturally occurs in beans, peas, fruit, nuts, seeds, and vegetables. Dietary fiber can lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, and help control blood glucose, blood sugar. It also helps make you feel full, increase the frequency of bowel movement, and reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Most Americans should get about 28 grams of fiber per day. Most people can get the recommended amount of fiber by eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. There are some tips that help us to increase the dietary fiber in your book. We need to add beans, peas, lentils on our food, like soup, stew, salad, or dishes. Or we need to substitute beans for meat. That will provide us more fiber and low fat intake. Or we need to choose whole grain breads or cereals with a whole wheat flour. And, and we need to eat fruits such as apples, pears, bananas, berry, melon, oranges all the time. Also, like carrots, sweet potatoes, broccoli, spinach, green beans, they are also important to increase the dietary fiber in our food. To keep the fiber content of vegetables high, we need to eat them raw or steamed, or just until tender, and leave the skin on. And and also we can add dried fruits to cereals, muffins, or some cook quick breads to increase the fiber. Fiber is very important. How about water? I know everybody understand water is very important, but most people don't drink it. Water, the human need water to live. So the body uses water to digest food, remove waste, carry nutrients and oxygen to every cell in the body, cool the body, lubricate joint and tissue, and maintain healthy skin. The thirst sensation usually tends to decline as we age, so making it harder for old adults to realize they need more fluids. So the guidelines for water intake in your book, it's listed in here. Says everyone's water requirements are different. So most healthy people need between 9 and 13 cups each day, with 1 cup equals 8 ounces. Since fruits and vegetables are mostly water, eating the first 5 a day also help with the hydration. About 20% of a person's total daily water intake come from water-rich foods like lettuce, leaf greens, cucumber, summer squash, celery, berry, melon, and more. But coffee and tea can contribute to daily fluid intake. they're bad. They take the water out of our body. Too much water can flush out electrolytes that are needed your body. This can give you a negative impact. I know water is very important, but drinking too much water has a negative impact on our body. So we need to, as a caregivers, we need to encourage a client to drink before they become thirsty. We need to offer frequently throughout the day. It's also a good idea to keep a glass of water by client chair or bedside. If we fill 20-ounce water bottle 4 times a day, or drink a large glass of water with each meal and snack, it's very good. And to make the water better, we can add flavor to the water by adding sliced citrus, crushed mint, peeled sliced ginger or cucumber. That makes it better. You can drink better. So when we are planning shopping and preparing meals for older adults, we need to use a healthy eating plate to include enough foods from each food group. We need to use a healthy eating pyramid to choose the best kind of food from each group. Fresh fruits and vegetables, proteins have more nutrients and less added ingredients than processed foods. So always try to eat before you go shopping, so you won't be tempted to purchase the snack foods that are not good. Read all the time. Read the nutrition fact labels on a package food. Try to buy products that are follow the guidelines of good nutrition. Look for products that are low in saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, or other sugar, and try to buy high dietary fiber and protein. A client may have a special diet due to a disease, condition, medication, or food allergy. So a special diet can limit or increase the intake of certain foods or how foods must be prepared. If the client is making unhealthy food choices or not following their prescribed diet, first we need to explain our concerns to the client, and second, we have to offer a safe alternative, and third, we have to report our concerns to the appropriate person in your case setting, and the last one, we have to document your concerns and what you did for them. And some people are food allergies. So some people have allergies to food that can cause sudden life-threatening reactions. So even a small amount of food can make a person who has a food allergy sick. So foods that cause the most allergies include milk, soy, egg, wheat, peanut, nut, fish, shellfish. So we need to pay attention what allergies our clients have. So foods to avoid should be listed on the client service plan. So we need to know what they are allergic to. Symptoms of allergic reaction to a food can include everybody has a different reaction, but most of them are like tingling or itching sensation, hives, or swelling of mouth or throat, or face, lips, or tongue, or abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, difficulty breathing, lightheadedness, or loss of consciousness. Now you can see more. What's dysphagia? Dysphagia is a common condition which makes swallowing more difficult. The warning signs of dysphagia include having pain when you swallow, or we are unable to swallow, or we are full, or somebody can bring the food back up or recalculate they can't swallow it, or we have somebody might have a heartburn, or unexpected weight loss, or someone might cough or gurgle before or during the swallow, or someone may have a pocketing. So when you are seeing these things, these are like a warning signs for dysphagia. So we need to notify the appropriate person for the dysphagia. Clients with dysphagia will have a prescribed special diet. So depending on the severity of the condition, the consistency of food and liquid must be changed to make it easier and safer for the client to eat or drink. Diet modification should be noted in the client service plan. So there are some tips how we can help a client with dysphagia to eat. First, these are very simple things. Let the person see, smell, and taste the food to encourage saliva to flow and improve their appetite before they start eat. Or maybe we can avoid having the client to talk while eating, or we can watch for pocketing of food. If this happens, remove the pocketed food and have client slow down, or ask the client to do a tongue swipe if they are able. Or you may need to promote swallowing process with the statements like chew thoroughly, swallow again, hold your breath while you swallow, and clear throat. See, these are the general tips that we can do to help a client with dysphagia to eat. There is a skill assist client to eat in here, and the skill is listed on page 426. But generally, where we are assisting a client to eat, we never make sure the client head is forward and the client chin is down. We need to put a small amount of food on the spoon or fork. We give the client plenty of time for chewing and swallowing. We never rush them, and we need to tell the client what food is on the fork or spoon before putting it in their mouth. We need to treat them as an adult. Never assist a client to eat who's lying down or reclining or very sleepy. That's very dangerous. Many assistive devices can help maintain a client independence. There are some silverwares with built-in handle to make them easier to grasp. There are some like cups with two hands on it, they can hold it. There are some straws, or it's like divided plates. There's different kind of assistive devices. Now it's time to talk about dehydration. Dehydration happens when a person's body does not get enough nutrients. This can happen because a person might have a digestive problem or dental problem or a medical condition. The topic I am covering right now is here, so you can see recognizing and reporting signs of malnutrition and dehydration. So we are covering both at the same time. What's malnutrition? Malnutrition occurs when a person's body does not get enough nutrients. When a person eats food but they don't get right kind of food, balanced food, that's what happens. Why do people don't eat right? Why do they get malnutrition? When you ask that, person or a client might have a digestive problem, they might have a dental problem or a medical condition, they might have a problem with chewing, mouth pain, or dentures that don't fit, or they might have an upset stomach, constipation, bloating, or they might, that client, maybe they are living alone, or they're taking multiple medication, or they are having substance abuse, or they don't have any appetite. Either way, they're not eating. That's the main problem. That's the malnutrition. Malnutrition can lead to a medical complication that leads to weakness or fall injuries that end up in hospitalization. A client with malnutrition can have a decreased ability to resist infection, heal wound, or recover from illness, surgery, or other treatments. So usually when we see a person with unintended weight loss, they lose their weight so fast, or eating less than half of their meal or snack, or if you see them very fatigued or dizzy, depressed, lonely, grief, confusion, you can guess that this person might have malnutrition, and it's good to tell to the appropriate person what's going on with the client. On the other hand, dehydration can be caused by losing too much fluid or not drinking enough to replace it. That may be one of the cause. Um, Sometimes a diarrhea, vomiting, fever, they make you lose a lot of water. Dehydration can be mild, moderate, or severe. Severe dehydration is a life-threatening emergency. Many factors can affect how quickly a client becomes dehydrated, including medication, diet, how active they are, and body size. Warning signs of dehydration are prolonged vomiting, thirst, dry or sticky mouth, cracked lip, headache, fatigue, dizziness, confusion, constipation, leg cramps, and more. Thank you very much for staying with me for lesson 1. I am going to put lesson 2 in a different video. Thank you.